Well, what are we doing today? Well, we're going to do some more stuff with a 6-wheel drive Land Rover Perentie Ambulance. Today we are dealing with the aftermath of running this thing here. This is a boiling vessel that come out of either a Centurion or a Chieftain tank. This is the modern version. Notice this is rated for 15 amps. This one pulls 55 amps and uses a huge cable here, which I have retrofitted with Anderson's. Inside is a heating element on 2 pins and a thermostat on the other 2 pins. It requires an off-board relay to operate, which I have hiding in a box down there. This one doesn't, and so I have a little bypass on this one here just to turn the relay on. The problem is, the other day when I ran it, while driving, the volts come up to about 29 volts while we're driving, and this solid state relay that is rated for 100 amps for some reason didn't like that and changed the color of the inside of this box. Now it was working somewhat, it is fused shut, but we're gonna have to open this box and find out exactly what happened. I predict we're probably going to be putting a standard mechanical relay in there, but let's get some screwdrivers, get this box open and see what's happening. It's in a slightly less convenient spot, but I have nobody to blame but myself, given I'm the one that installed it. Now, I had left this over Christmas because it was still sort of working, but I kind of can't ignore it now. We're going to need it. Alright, something has had a failure in here. And let's have a look. Yeah, something has definitely had a major meltdown in here. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this out of the box. This looks kind of bad. There's definitely some melt marks in here. And yeah, oh, this is definitely not going to be fun. Alright, well I guess I'm going to take some terminals off and we're going to get this out. This exact scenario is also why I added an isolation switch. Alright, now I need to find my square drive a bit to see if I can remove this. Now, actually one thing I can do at the other end of these cables is an Anderson plug. I think I'm just going to go and unplug that. The box has the feel of something that's been very hot. Might be that it gets an aluminium box for the next installation. Yeah. Well, yes, it has definitely been hot. I think we can say that overheating has probably been a significant factor in its failure. Alrighty then. So that box is definitely going to get replaced. Alright, well the box is shagged. So, that's plastic that's welled up around there. Alright. Yep, and the bottom of the relay has actually fused in with that as well. Alright, I think I'm going to get some flush cutters. I'm going to trim the notches out, lift the wires out so I don't have to re-terminate so much stuff. Alright. Oh, well that's the end of those cutters. Alright. Okay, we're free. Alright, we're back at the workbench here and we're going to do some continuity testing, see if it's really buggered. So these are the output terminals. That is definitely fused. Alright. And so that is detecting power in only one direction, which is normal. We haven't had any isolation breakdown, which is nice, but yeah, definitely fused, and that's what happens with these. So I think this is going to be a job for a mechanical relay. Possibly, I do have a winch solenoid somewhere. That might be what we end up doing, but I would like to have it in an enclosed box. So that one is knackered. We're going to find a new one. Alright, so now I have some questions about why this actually failed. That might be pertinent to replacing it. So I'm going to clean some label off the front here and have a look. I can't tell if it says 30 or 20 volts DC. However, in either case, yes, 30 volts DC. Now, at the time that this failed, I was running the alternator, and it can push those batteries up to about 29 and a bit volts. It gets quite close to 30 volts. So maybe it's over voltaging and not over current that was the problem. Yes, input 32 volts DC. So this is working right on the edge of its current rating. So I do have a winch solenoid, but it's 12 volt, not 24 volt. I'm going to do some thinking, but I think we will improvise a bypass for the short term, and then I can at least run one of the boiling vessels. Alright, so my local supplier of electronic parts is not open for about another 3 or 4 days, so I guess he needs holidays. I need to find a way to make this thing work temporarily. I wonder if these blue points are going to be big enough for that copper. Possibly not. So I need to find some kind of a way to join those wires together. This is my emergency collection of bits. I don't have anything 24 volt that can handle that. That 12 volt relay, or 12 volt winch relay that I've got, a winch solenoid, would probably handle the current, but it's 12 volt. And I need to find a 12 volt supply, which I could from the 24 to 12 volt converter. But it starts getting complicated and running extra wires, and for a temporary fix, it's not what I want to do. So let's see if bleh, I'm not going to re-record that bit. Let's see if these wires fit into these blue points. If they don't, then I'm going to find another way of doing this. Alright, so this is one of 2 cables we need to join. So what we really need to do is take the input and output from the relay and join those 2. That will give us constant power, so I can run the big vessel if I need to. I just unplug it before it's finished boiling, or I'll turn this switch off. But it'll mean we can run the other one that has the relay built in, but I don't think there's any chance I'm going to get that in there. So alright, let's see if I've got something. Alright, well, I found something. Found a couple of bus bars. They're not ideal and they're not insulated, but I have a roll of insulation tape. I might make for a temporary fix, and I need to strip a bit off this anyway. So yeah, let's get these screwed into this. Right, one thing that is good is that I have about 3 or so pairs of these flush cutters on hand at all times. Yeah, don't know if these guys are going to handle this, but let's try. That's nice clean copper. Now this one, I would like to clean the copper up, but I've only got limited cable hanging out here, so it's going to go into this anyway. Let's move our camera around a bit, and then you might be able to see what I'm doing a tiny bit better. I like this Hero 9. I have the front screen, and I can kind of see where I'm aiming instead of having to guess it all. So let's do this. Now keep in mind, guys, this is a very temporary fix until I can get like an aluminium enclosure and a nice 24 volt high current relay. but being as it's the middle of the Christmas period, that's going to be difficult. I'm also kind of rural in my location, so that makes it pretty hard to get hold of some of these things. But pretty sure this should carry 50 amps. Alright. Now, the temptation here is to put one of these right down the other end. I'm not entirely sure what's driving that, but that's more resistance. And yeah, it's probably a little bit easier to insulate with these two wires in the same place. So I get them in here. Always, there's one strand. Alright, see if we can get you in here. Nope. Yeah, this cable's a bit munted. When I do this properly, when I put the relay on, I'm going to feed a bit more of this cable through, and I will chop off that mangled bit of cable, or the heat affected bit, and strip it for some good clean copper. But for now, we just need this to work for a couple of nights. Alright. And yeah, well, I will be getting a new pair of these in the new year as well. Alright, I think I'm just going to leave those standoffs on there so I don't lose them, and had an apprentice playing with the tape here. But yeah, we're just going to insulate this as best we can so we don't have a an unexpected loss of electrons. Alright, this should prevent some unexpected problems. And if I'm lucky, I might be able to put one of those self-tapping screws back in, stick it to the wall. Alright. Okay, let's throw them away. Right. Now, this is our negative side of things. We're going to chop off our little burr hanging out there. This one doesn't matter. This lead here is only the return from the thermostat Anderson plug. It's not carrying any power, so it can float around and do what it wants. That's no worries. We do definitely want that disconnected so we don't accidentally feed power back to the thermostat side of things. If I'm lucky, these holes will be about the right width apart. Alright, one screw for now. We want to reuse the other screw later on. So we are going to put this screw just back in there just so we don't accidentally lose it. And we might get a zip tie or two and zip tie this negative junction just a bit further away from that to avoid a problem. Let's grab some zip ties. Alright, zip tie time. Now, this is not intended to be a final fix. This is just a temporary field fix so that we can still have a bit of hot water on New Year's Eve. This guy doesn't matter anything. He can tuck up out of the way. I'll pull it back out when we need it. Anyway, so that is kind of doing the job of a permanently closed relay. So we'll run our smaller one that has an inbuilt thermostat. If we're really desperate, we can boil the other one, but we will need somebody to keep an eye on it and physically turn the switch off when it boils. So let's do some cleaning up here. Get some of the other stuff. Let's pick up all our tools, of which there are many. So we're going to pick all this stuff up, clean up, then we'll sweep stuff out. Alright. I think the rest of this floor definitely needs a clean up too. We've got Christmas trash all over the floor. Alright. Does feel a bit better to be sweeping it up. And a sign you live with long-haired women. There's hair ties everywhere. And a tiny teddy. Okay. Almost here. Bit of stuff to go in the bin. Alright. So, I think at this point we should probably test if we get hot water. Alright, so we're going to fire up the RAK 15/4. This other one, I have done videos on it before and I forget the serial number. It is an FV 706656. It's an MK2 model, but we can have a look up here. This is the one that did it. Yeah, it runs on 28 volts DC, 55 amps it's rated for. It pulls a little bit more than that, but yeah. Anyway, we're going to fire this guy up. Now, what we need to do is we go down below, turn on our isolation switch, see if we have power. Alright, this works. Beforehand it ran for a day, and then after that it would turn off on low voltage mode. It was going in battery protection. So that seems to be working alright. Let's have a look in the top here. We'll open up our clip here and see. So we won't know for a little while if it's getting warm. It's definitely quite cold now. I'm going to go and get an aquarium thermometer. Alright, this is a very cheap panel mount aquarium thermometer. If you buy them in bulk, you can get them for about $1.50 each out of China. Alright, we'll chuck this in here and we will let it acclimatise. It's about 20 degrees at the moment. We'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I've shut it in the lid. I'm leaving the latch open, but with a rubber seal you can actually leave these in here. Anyway, it's sitting at 21.8 degrees now. It is rising. It's 21.9, 22. We'll come back in a few minutes and see if it's rising. Alright, so while we are waiting, we're going to check what we're pulling off our solar. We're at, where are we? 26.6 volts and pulling 14.5 amps. Well, the batteries were fully charged beforehand, and so 15 volts or 15 amps, sorry, is about what that pulls. So I'd say the solar panels are keeping up with it. The solar panels can do about 35 amps. Yeah, we're 25.5 degrees Celsius now. We're certainly coming up in temperature. We'll leave that go till it boils, and we will check all of this stuff. Though that's all pretty cool. I do have a thermal imager I could get on this, but I don't think I'll bother. It's barely noticeably, it's not even warm, which is pretty normal. So we'll give this a few minutes. Alright, so one thing I do need to do is empty the water out of this one. It's not going to get used for a while. So we will take our cam lock straps off it. We'll tip it out. Lift that off. And I'll pour all the water out in the front yard. Because I filled it up to use it the other day and we can't. Looks like I will need to cut myself a new unit. This has had a little bit of water ingress, so the next one might get done out of acrylic. Let's see how we go. Oh, it's 60 degrees. We're getting close to cup of tea temperature. I find I can brew a cup of tea at about 65 to 68 degrees, and low temp mode on this is 68 degrees, and that makes for a good cuppa. So we have my JCar mug here. That's a sponsored mug. They gave that to me. Now, what do we have? We have a tea bag. This is Lipton stuff. And we have a sugar, which is a CSR one. It's brown sugar or raw sugar, whichever you prefer. And milk. Wait, I think I have some milk. And there's a mini milk in the fridge that needs using. I'm not using condensed milk today. This will nearly be ready. And that's a dirty spoon. That's going to go inside to get washed. Let's find ourselves a clean spoon. Clean one. Ration pack spoon. Alright. Back in 5 degrees. Alright, what are we at? We're at 67.9 degrees, 68 degrees. Alright, this will work for a cup of tea. A little spigot here. Alright, that's looking nice. Yep, and it's brewing well, so we'll leave that to brew for a little bit. You can probably hear some radiated sound from the fridge coming through the camera right now, largely because the camera is sitting on top of the fridge. Let's see if we switch this to low mode. Yep, and it's sitting at 70 degrees and it's not turning the heating element on anymore, which is nice. Alright, so that's my temporary field repair for this. We'll do another video soon when I come back with a relay. I'm going to use a mechanical relay. I think that was about an $80 solid state relay. We have some noisy neighbours too, so in case you heard that, I'm sorry about that. They've featured in a few videos before. Anyway, time for a cuppa. Yeah, Christmas pushes people to pushes families together that maybe I don't think should get together. But anyway, I can only speculate about what's going on over there. Anyhow, I hope it was an interesting one. I'll see you in the next one, hopefully when this relay shows up. These videos are probably going to be well after New Year's because I've got a whole bunch scheduled, so I'm trying not to bombard you guys any more than once a day. So yeah, we'll see you with the next one. I am somewhat immobile. My foot is quite sore, a bit of a tendon injury over Christmas, so yeah, we'll see how much more actual videos of me standing up we have. But yeah, see you later. Hope you had fun. I'll stop yakking. We'll have more interesting stuff later.